This fake store details should return here a simple details page. So this details page must display with the details of the product that user selected. So what we do now is we will go to the fake store. This is app.js. Here we need to write the path. So what is the path? The route path is the path name we will keep as route, and the route path is details /: ID. That means detail is expecting the ID of product. So whenever you access details, you pass the ID. That ID related product detail should come. So which element it should access? It should access the element fake store details. Fake store details element should come. So here we have details and we pass an ID. So it must get the details of that particular and show. Now, when user clicks on see more, it is in which location? It is in the products. So we will go to the products. In the products, see more is a link. This link should navigate to, it should navigate to, here we will use slash. It should navigate to details slash, and it should pass the product ID. So that means here we will put a binding expression and the product ID. Product ID, currently already we are mapping the product. So we will access product dot ID. We will pass the product ID. Now in details page, we have to collect the ID. So how do we collect the ID? We create a constant params is equal to use params. And through params you can access the ID. So here I am just temporarily will collect the ID. Params have a parameter called ID. That means that particular ID product should come. So here we click on some clothing. The products are there. You click on any product, that product related ID will come. Details 17. And here I will put a paragraph. And here I will give a link. In this link, I will give back to products. So, but important is which category products, from which category you came, that category related product should come. So first we will filter and get the product so that we can know its category. Is it electronics, jewelry and all? So how to display the detail of that particular product? It's simple now. What we do, we have to use effect, and in this use effect we need to filter the product that belongs to that particular ID. So we will create a constant called product, set product, use state. Okay. This product is expecting an object. So it is expecting an object. Okay. So on use effect, what we do, Axios, by using Axios dot get, we will fetch https colon double slash fakestore.api.com/products slash id. id is coming from what it is? Params. id is coming from params dot id. Dot then we will get the response and set product. It should send response dot data. That's the data is coming. So that product information we want to display here, details and the product, we have a data list. So data term, this is title of the product. We will just access product dot title. Another term, it is expecting price. So data definition product dot price, and preview and data definition image source product dot image. So width is 200 and height also 200. Like that, you can display all the details of that. Now here we will link to here we will access slash. What is that? Categories. Categories is an path. Into that we have to pass the category name. Category of products. Products slash category name. Category name is coming from product dot what? Category. It will get the category name and show. Now that is the detail of that product it will show. We are accessing the detail of the product and display. So here I will put a class container. It's going to display that and show. Now I will keep here the back to products. That means it get backs to the category. So you click back to categories, then it will get back to the categories. So you selected some jewelry, the jewelry products will come, and you click on that particular product and the product details will come. So you click back to products and it will get back to the products. Here, what is the more nested approach is? As I told you yesterday, when you click on this product, if you want the product details to come here only, there itself you want, or we can implement here. Suppose if you want, because this product has some more details like description, rating, reviews are present. Now, if you want those details to display beside, means here we want product related ratings, reviews, we want to display here. That means what we do here is we will put another data definition, and here we will keep a link. We will keep a link, and this link will say ratings and description. Like this we are defined. Now what should happen is, so when user clicks on it, class name, PTN, suppose PTN some primary or success. Okay. You can see ratings and description. When user clicks on this, it should go to the more details of that product. In that details, it should display the ratings and reviews. And ratings and reviews, we can show in a separate screen or we can show in the same screen. That means we will have a separate path for rating and reviews, rating and description. So for example, here we will create another one. We will create another fake store ratings dot what JSX. Actually, in this, only just a number is there. But in general websites, you may have reviews, hundreds of written. We want in a separate location those reviews to be read, right? So now we will say export function fake store ratings and return a simple interface here, ratings and description. That is the option we are having. Now this path should work within the context of details. Within the context of details, that path should work. Then in that case, here, go to app.js. This is your details. In the details path, we need to configure a child. We need to define a child. Actually, there are different ways of configuring the child. How do we configure the child is, see, we cannot end this now. Previously, we were ending that, right? We cannot end that. Why? Because this route contains inside other routes. Then don't end this. And this is the route. Inside this, you configure another route. A route inside another route. This indicates that this route will be working within the context of details. We have to configure the route. Actually, there will be an option called children. You can use the children approach also. That means children. And here you can configure the child routes. But in the modern, I told you versions. In the modern routes, we recommend clean separation of parent and child and nested routes. You can implement any technique, doesn't matter. I told you currently we are using version 6. Version 6 is the advanced of version 5, but it is not a improved version. It is completely redesigned version. In that redesigned version, just like I told you, previous versions of React and our React 18, a complete redesign. So several libraries are different, completely changed. Due to that, the syntax, the approach will change. We saw how old version creates a virtual DOM. The same how the new version creates a virtual DOM. Similarly, how you mention parent child, that depends on your requirement. You can use any technique. And recent techniques, they prefer always clean separation of hierarchy, right? So now it should be route path. Inside this again you want route, you can write like this. Otherwise, you can mention this just as a route. In a child route, there can be several children. You can have several children. Currently, we are using only one route. And what is its path? Its path is ratings. In the ratings slash, ratings belong to which ID? Slash colon ID. And which element it should render? It should render an element called fake store ratings. Fake store ratings element it should render. Now what should happen is when user clicks on this rating, okay, let's go to that page, details. In details, when user clicks on this ratings link, it should navigate to which location? It should navigate to what? Ratings. It should navigate to ratings slash which product? Current product. That means current product, what we will do here, we will pass product dot what? ID. Now important here, I am not giving slash. If I give slash, then what happens is it will go outside these details. It will go outside the details. So, but it is inside the details. That means you have to mention a relative path. That means it is just ratings. Okay. Now we will go to the ratings page. Here we have to collect that ID. We need to access the ID. How do we access the ID? So I am configuring again. So const here issues will be there because route parameters are having two IDs now. Route parameter are having two IDs now. One ID related to the previous and another ID related to the current. That means same keys will be there. For example, see now, I am using here constant params is equal to what? Use params. Use params. And when you use the params, and here this is just an empty one. Here I will just use temporarily params dot id. I'm using params dot id. So now when user selects that description, it should get that. But see, it is unable to render. The ratings of 7 is passed in, but it is unable to render. Why it is unable to render? Because you have to tell where this child route have to render. That child route is within this route, na? Within the route where to render, here it should render. This is called outlet. That means in child route, where the result of that markup should be rendered. That is what we call as child outlets. How? That means the result must be rendered in the details. This is currently details. Inside details, ratings is coming. And that rating should come here and display inside details. So inside the details page, when user clicks on this ratings, because it is a relative path, where it should render, you have to tell. So we'll do one thing. We will create a simple div with the class as row and with the div class as col. This is call is enough. In one column, this content, and we have another column. So class as call. Here, the result of this link should display here. That means this is relative path. The relative path result should render here. Then this is called as outlet. We have to use an outlet. We have to use an outlet. Outlet is from React Router DOM. So what is the concept of outlet is? Outlet is going to decide, it is going to decide where the child content should be rendered. The child content should be rendered based on the outlet location. Now you see here, so ratings and description will come here. It is going to access and display the ratings and description. Now, usually, suppose back to products, I will select back, click on any product, the product detail will come, and rating and description, it will display here. It is going to show the rating and description here. That means we are accessing the route within the route. So like that, there can be several child routes. There can be several child routes. You see now here, I will, means we will access the details and display. So what we have to do now, we will go to the fake store ratings. In the fake store ratings, we need to access the product details. Same constant product, and what it is, set product is equal to use state, and we will put an use effect. So in this, we are accessing set product. So we have, first we have Axios dot get from https fake store api.com/what products, and here we have to define the params dot id dot then, and response. So we have to just set product and the response dot data, and we need to display here. So that means here we will access a span. So class as badge BG success, and border and borders, not border, we have rounded, and rounded circle we will use. Okay, and in this we have the option is, one is product dot rating dot rate, class bi star fill, text white, and we are displaying the rating here. That's the rating we are having. So border rounded is enough, and padding 2 I will give. It will be in this way. And what about description? We will create here a div in this class margin top. Yeah. And here we have text area. In the text area, we are displaying product dot what description. You know, text area will have rows. Rows is 4, and calls calls is some 30 or 40. Okay, that is the description of that product we are showing there. About the product, we will keep here a heading. So description we are adding, that's the description we are displaying. That means we are accessing and displaying the detail. So back to products, we will click on any product and we click on ratings and description, and the product rating should come. Acha, it is unable to access that because this is expecting an object. We need to hard code the data better. Otherwise, what happens is it is unable to recognize those IDs over request. So what we will do, what are the details it is having? ID is a number type, title is what? String type, another one. So we have a price is number type, another one. Description is a string. We have image is a string. What else? Rating is an object, rate is a number, and count is also a number. So better to display the description and show that. So back to products and click on the data and description. It should get. Why description is not coming? Some the product description. One more is there, I think. Product have a category also, na? Category is a string type, but the description, they have the same name. Will display here. It's fine. It's working fine. Okay. Okay. So it is taking some time to access from API. That's the one. So we will go there, back to products, back to categories. You click on a category, you click on any product, the details will come, and we click on rating and description. It should get the rating. So here description have some issue. I think every product may not have a description. It is having description for every product. The rating is fine. Let's keep this in the value product dot description. Okay, value is fine. Right. Actually, you can show inside direct text area, but so it is unable to load inside text area dynamically. So we are assigning as what value. Generally, instead of text area, like text area, how you can define, you can create a div, you can keep overflow, auto, then scroll bar will come and it will display. So this is the navigation inside another. So what are the basic rules here? How to configure the child routes? The first point, child route is defined. Child route is defined by using route component. So within the context of existing, within the context of existing, within the context of existing route, existing route. So we write like this. So we have a route path. This is the parent. Element is equal to parent element. Inside that, again, we configure the route. The path is child. And element is equal to child element. That's how we define and close the route. So child routes are configured. Child routes are configured with the link element, as relative path, as relative path. So we have to use link to and child route. We have to define link to child route. So here one more point. The location of child, the location of child component, the location of child component is defined using outlet, which renders the child component, which renders the child component within the context of parent.
अरे यहाँ पे पानी हो रहा हो, आंधी भी आ गया, बादल घेर लिए। अभी तक तो दुबई में ना अभी हिया हिया का देख।
So the location of child component is defined using outlet.
मौसम चेंज हो गया।
So outlet is responsible for defining where to render your content. Here one more issue will come. In our example, as of now, there is no problem. But where issue will come, I will show you. We will change this little bit, right? Let's see. First, for this, I will give you the logic. Means I will copy. I will again upload entire project, but a few changes I will add now. One is I am adding some file. fake store ratings dot JSX. This is ratings JSX, and above this details. Before in yesterday's we made these changes. What is it? Fake store details dot what JSX. In the details we are copying them. Okay. Now one more change we have to do. The change is you need to define in app.js. In app.js, we have to make these changes. In the routes, we need to put them. The rest of options are same. Just where I made the changes, I am showing you right here. That means how do we configure a parent with the child? Okay, let's see. This is done. This is one point. Let's see where the issues will come and how do we resolve the issue. We'll do one thing. When user clicks on jewelry products are coming. When user clicks on more, the detail should come here only. When user clicks on that, the detail should come here. So what is the issue you will face now? Which should come? The details should come. Where detail should open? Detail should open inside this component. Now what happens is you clicked on first one or you clicked on this particular one. That means details component will mount. Details component will mount. A component mounts how many times? Only one time it will mount. Now when you click second product, this will not mount again. That means only the first product is shown. You click on another one, then the mount should happen again, but usually component will mount only once. How you make a component mount again? We saw generally in function component, mount phase is written by using use effect. Use effect have dependency na? Use effect have a dependency. Now what is the dependency? That means on which dependency it should mount again. That means whenever the ID changes, then it should mount again. That means now the dependency comes to picture. Let's do this. So we will do modification. Actually, what we will do is we will keep this details path. We will keep that details path. Let's cut this. The details path inside these products. That means inside the product, we will keep the details. Details we will keep here. That means inside the product, we have details. Inside the details, you have ratings. That means now what happens is where this details should render inside the products. So let's go to the products. In the products, what we will do? Every card we have flex column we will give. Flex column. Flex column means one below another. That means flex column is going to display like this. And what we will do is here under this, we will keep a division here like this. We have a div class as row. We have a div class as call2 and we have a div. So class as call10, like this I'm adding. Now I will add here, this is the data. We are displaying flexible content like this. That means we are displaying all these in this column. If you want, what you can do, so you can keep, so this is style. So here we keep height as 300 and overflow as auto. So that means it will keep the content overflow auto and display that. Already it have display flexa. I will keep like this. And we don't need this flex anymore. Okay. And the height we need to give 300 px. That will be fine. Okay. 350 px. Okay. So that we can scroll these and we can view them. Now what should happen is, so here we have defined, yeah. Okay, now what should happen in this is when user clicks on more, that should render here, right side. That means what is the outlet position? That means remember, now this details of product is not a absolute path, it is an relative path. It is an relative path and it should render in the 10 number column, right? That means here we have to give an outlet. We are giving an outlet. Now you see when user clicks on this, then it should get that and display. When user clicks on this rating, it should get that and display. That means a route in route. We are configuring nested approach. That means now when user clicks on this products, you see, I say here, I click on any category and I selected a category. I click on any product, the product detail will come here and I click on second product and the second product is not coming. You see, ID is changed. 16. Okay, I will select this one. So ID is 18. That means parameter is changing, but that product is not updating. Why? Because details is not mounting again. Details is mounting how many times? Only once. When it should mount again? When the parameter changes. So we will go to product details. Here you see use effect. It is mounting only once. This is the dependency. In the dependency, when it should mount again? When params.id changes. That means when the parameter ID changes, then mount again. So in mount phase, what is dependency? Dependency indicates when to mount it again. That means whenever parameter changes, mount again. Now see, we will click on some red and that product will come here. You click on this one, that will mount here. If you don't mention that, then it is not going to update and display. That means you are accessing and mounting. Finish. Component will not mount again. Only one it mounts. If you want the component to mount again, you have to tell on which dependency it should mount. Dependency means what is the change it should identify, and on that change it should update. You can have multiple. For example, user clicked delete, it should mount. User clicked refresh, it should mount. User clicked save, it should mount. That means on various changes it can mount. That is the reason this is an array. This is an array because you can have multiple dependencies. So all these days we were never able to use this because that situation is not there. Now we can simply implement that. That means what is the concept? When the component should mount again. Why a component should mount again? Because new data is coming. Right? Remember, if you are requesting from URL, no problem. That means, for example, you see, you can directly request from the URL. Suppose you are requesting like 18 and hit enter, then 18th product will come. But when you are selecting, when you are selecting, you click on it, then that detail should come here. So that is the approach how we need to manage. So this is the concept of displaying. This is product details. Means interface you can make it more better. I'm just giving the process, text center and all. I'm just adding the product details. Right? I given the column suppose 3 and the column suppose say 9. So we can have some gap and display these products like this. So back to products, back to categories. You select any category, the category related products will come. You click on it and the details will be displayed there. Right? So this is another example of nested. And we created a nested route in nested. Means a route in route, inside the route, another route. You can go with any level of hierarchy, any number of hierarchy. But only the key thing is dependency. If you don't mention the dependency, then the latest content will not update them. Right? So in this approach, I changed this route in this way. So we have a parent route products categories. In that it is accessing the categories. So details, in the details again we have a rating. Any number of hierarchy we can have. Now some important question asked is, so the frequently asked question, can we define multiple route outlets? Can we define multiple route outlets? More than one route outlet? Actually, what outlet defines? Outlet is going to define where to render your content. Now, can you render in multiple places? Some technologies will not allow of rendering multiple outlets. So some technologies that support routing, they don't allow rendering of multiple outlets, but React allows. So we can. That means you can have multiple copies of that. For example, you given an outlet here. So we can do that. So you see outlet is there. Now what happens is, suppose I am giving some, so call is 4 and another div we are giving and the class name as call is 5. And here again another outlet we are defining. So we are configuring multiple outlets, multiple will come. That means we can display in multiple places. For example, user selected something and that result should be displayed in many places. In that case, then you can configure by using this technique, right? So we can keep multiple outlets. That means in a container also you can add. Suppose you have a div, then you have outlet. So this is one, and we have another outlet. So another one. That's how we can configure. You can have multiple outlets. Right. So we can define multiple outlets also. It's not an issue. Now, another important is another question that comes regularly is how to navigate dynamically. How to navigate dynamically. How to navigate dynamically. How you can navigate dynamically. That is the point. Actually, how you navigate dynamically in JavaScript. Dynamically means generally now how you are navigating statically. That means you are clicking a link and it is going to that path. Dynamically means it will decide where to take you. That means you performed an action, it is going to decide where to take you. For example, you have a login screen. After login screen, where you have to go? That depends on whether you successfully logged in or not. If you successfully logged in, it will take you to one screen. If not, it will take you to another screen. That means you mentioned wrong credentials. It says, so you have wrong credentials, please try again. If you enter correct credentials, then it will go to another location. How you navigate dynamically? Generally, JavaScript uses location href. In JavaScript, you navigate dynamically using location href. You know, location object have href. Here, how you navigate dynamically. So, the situation I will tell you. We are giving here fake store index. Now, what should happen is in the fake store index, we will give a login screen. Their user will enter user ID and password. If password is correct, then we will take him to shopping home, means categories. That means you see now here we will put a simple data list. So data term, say user ID. This is temporarily. And data definition, input type is text. Just to show you the concept, later we will implement complete functionality. How login, logout works, we will implement. So password, we have a input type as password. Okay, now we have a button and login. Now what should happen here is when user clicks on login, this part I will copy. Okay, when user clicks on login button, what should happen when user clicks on the login button? It should verify password. If password is correct, then it should navigate to shop. That's the process we want to follow. So let's write a logic for this btn, some primary. Now what we have to do, we write a function. So we are configuring a function, handle login click. Okay. We will access here on click. handle login click. We have to collect the password, then on change. So this is handle password change. So here we will put a constant. So password set password is equal to use state. We have a string. Now here first we have a function handle password change e set password e dot target dot value. We are collecting the password and we have to verify on login click if password is matching with the value you expected, then it should go to home. It should go to home. Otherwise, I will put temporarily alert, or we will have another page. We will say invalid.jsx. So export function invalid and here it will return a simple container. It shows invalid credentials and we will put a link. So we say try again and it should navigate to slash. Slash is the home. It should navigate to the home. Now if a password is wrong, it should go to invalid. If password is correct, it should go to the shop. It should go to the categories. Categories. That means it should go to the categories path. It should go to the categories path if it is success. Then you have to write another path here. So what is another route? We need another route and this route is for path. Path is what? Invalid. Which element you have to access? So invalid element we need to access. Remember, you cannot mention any path which is not defined in route. That means in a link or in any navigation, you are mentioning a path means make sure that that path is configured in the routes. That means some component is not mentioned in route and you are trying to access that component. It will not access, right? So first we have to do this. Okay, now tell me how do we write the logic here? When login is success, password is correct, it should go to the categories. Otherwise, it should go to invalid. Generally, if it is JavaScript, we use what? Location href. This refers to a page, but here we need to render a component. Then what we do is we use here a simple hook. We have to create a hook. Let navigate is equal to use navigate. Use navigate is a hook. This use navigate hook is responsible for handling dynamic navigation. Actually, in old version, they have use location, which is removed now. In the latest version, we don't have use location. It is not recommended. We have a new one. What is it? Use navigate. What this use navigate can do is here we will put navigate to which path? We have to mention the path. It should navigate to which path? Slash what? Categories. It should navigate to categories. Otherwise, it should navigate to which one? Slash invalid. That's how we do. If it is expecting parameters, you can pass parameters also here, slash. That is dynamically navigating. That means, for example, so now you see here in this route, some username is there. and password is something wrong, and click on login, then it say invalid credentials. Try again, and the password is correct. Password is what? Admin. That is the correct password. Then login. It will go to the shopping categories and display. That means we are navigating dynamically from one location to another. That is done by using this technique. How to navigate the answer? By using the hook. Use navigate. Use navigate. By using the hook, use navigate. Use navigate is the hook. So actually, syntactically, first we have to create a reference. Use navigate, and navigate will use the path, and it can have options. Options are not required every time. Means we can pass parameters and others. Options is not mandatory.
ये वाला भीगे की तबीयत खराब हुआ है एकदम डिफरेंट सर्दी खांसी बुखार
So how do we navigate dynamically? That means on a button click or any location. Here I given change in fake store index dot what JSX. So in the fake store index, we added this logic. That's the logic we define. And to implement this, you need one invalid component also to define. So when invalid, it will go there. That means we have a invalid dot what JSX. This is just a message. We are just keeping a message there. So, and make sure that in app.js, in the routes, in the route, you mentioned about the path as what invalid, and element is invalid component. Invalid component. That's the element. So this is the path. Okay, that's how we need to define. So now you have routes, the route parameters, and child routes, and how to dynamically navigate. How we can dynamically navigate. Now, another important, you need to learn how to authenticate routes. Authorize and authenticate. How to authorize and authenticate the routes. Authorizing and authenticating the routes, it requires some implementation of some logic behind them. Authorize and authenticate is nothing but, for example, here I click on home, I click on shop, it is accessible to everyone. No, it should accessible only for people who log in. That means without login, if they access, it should go to login. That means unless they log in, they can't access it. Even if they try from top /categories, as of now it is accessible from URL. It should not accessible, it should take to login. That means currently every route is accessible to everyone. There is no restriction. but we want to set the restriction. That means it is accessible only to the users who successfully pass the credentials. How you handle that? How, and very important is just a few minutes back he logged in and he haven't logged out. Then again when he opens, it should not ask login because he is already logged in. Then directly it should go to that component. After few minutes, it may automatically log out or user logouts. Then again you have to log in. How you will maintain all this process? Usually in websites, what they do for this, they use cookies. By using cookies, by using session, they can maintain this process. So now what we will do, we will learn how to use cookies and how to authenticate the routes. That means everybody cannot access, only after login they can access. And who logged in, we will show, and we will keep his details until he logs out. And for that we need to manage cookies. That we will see in next session. Right, tomorrow we will do that. So in tomorrow's session, we will learn about how we can manage the authentications. So as I told you, routing is not done. So much is there. We are learning level by level so many concepts here. So tomorrow you are going to learn an important cookies and how do we authenticate using cookies. That will give a complete idea on sign in and sign out process, how it happens. That we'll see in tomorrow's session. Okay, right. Yes, Dara, what is your doubt?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, actually, I have a doubt that I was trying to write
Yes.
a command